Because of the number and scheduling of recent Thornton Township regular meetings, special meetings, and emergency meetings, it has been a couple of months since I've been able to attend a Lansing Village Board meeting, but I attended tonight, and it was nice. It served as sort of a reset, a reminder of what a normal board meeting looks like. Frankly, normal board meetings are boring, at least at first glance. There's a lot of talk about things like TIF districts and engineering projections and various bids and proposals. It's a lot of details and presentations and numbers, boring stuff. But this boring stuff is the business that makes healthy community life possible. And these people, our local elected officials, are the public servants we've chosen to manage our tax dollars and make all these decisions. That's what our local elections are about. It's our chance to choose the people who are going to work for us, to do the boring business that every community needs done. I mentioned in another video that the Lansing Journal is working on a 2025 voter guide that will include information about all of the candidates and all of our local races. You can sign up for that voter guide and receive the information via email as we publish it online. And I want to encourage you to watch this boring video that follows of this boring Lansing Village Board meeting, because maybe seeing the kind of work that needs to be done will help you choose the kind of people who can do it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village of Lansing Board meeting for February 4th, 2025. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll. Trustee Smith? Here. Trustee Hardy?
Here.
Trustee Valencia?
Here.
Trustee Abbasy?
Here.
Trustee Henyard? Here. The trustees have before them the board meeting minutes from January 21st, 2025. Are there questions or discussion on those minutes? I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So, second.
I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll. Trustee Hardy?
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy?
Aye.
Trustee Valencia?
Aye.
Trustee Grady-Paravich? Aye. Trustee Smith? Aye. Under the mayor's report, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, tonight we are recognizing the passing of former Lansing Village trustee Martin Rye. Marty served our village as trustee from 1985 to 1993. During his 2 terms, Marty was chairman of the Lansing Airport Committee. More recently, Marty moved to Grant Park, Illinois, and there also served as a village trustee. In 2015, Marty was elected as mayor of Grant Park and served in that office until 2021. I spoke to the mayor of Grant Park, Janie Hawkins, yesterday. She confirmed that Marty's family is holding private services for him and would appreciate their privacy. Mayor Hawkins did mention that Mayor Roth spearheaded a beautiful walk path into her village and that his vision of their downtown streetscape is now in progress. I was reading through some of the minutes last week after I learned about this, about Marty's time when he was a village trustee, and it's apparent that he always brought a bit of humor to the village board meetings. Perhaps Mr. Malthus will remember that it was usually about the Lansing Municipal Airport.
He was in charge of the airport while I was there.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. Also tonight, under the mayor's report, we have Resolution 1456, reappointing Julie Vittoriti to the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 1456, appointing Julie Vittoriti to the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners. Are there questions or discussion? I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Grady-Parovich.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye. Also, we have Resolution 1457, clarifying the terms of office of the members of the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners. We discussed this a couple weeks ago at the last committee of the whole meeting. Are there questions or discussion on this? I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 1457, clarifying the terms of office of the members of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Grady-Parovich.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Village Administrator's Report. Mr. Podgorski.
Thank you, Mayor. A few items procedurally that I just wanted to note before we move into the trustees' reports. First of all, under the attorney's report tonight, we have a resolution. It's a housekeeping measure to clarify the conveyance of the building at 16710 Chicago Avenue, which is going to go to ultimately Mikowski's Real Sausage, which we discussed and approved that redevelopment agreement here a couple of months ago. I'll let Attorney Welch clarify under his report the reason for the resolution, but just note that this is, we're categorizing this as housekeeping in order to move the conveyance of the property along. Secondly, under Airport and Economic Development, under Resolution 1462, that proposed resolution for a Class 8 real estate tax assessment classification for Jorge Ruiz at 2760 Bernice Avenue. The resolution you received over the last week didn't contemplate the conditions that we discussed and placed on the property. We talked about certain improvements that Jorge would make to the site, including fencing, landscaping, that was inadvertently omitted from the resolution. So Attorney Welch has a revised resolution with those conditions attached as Exhibit B. So he'll hand those out tonight before we vote on it. And then lastly, under Buildings and Public Works and also under Youth Center and HRC, you know, we have a large amount of bid awards for public improvement projects to Public Works Building and the Youth Center. Rather than have all of those bid awards be motioned separately in order to save time, we've listed them all out and are contemplating them all being made in one motion. However, the board reserves the right to request those to be voted on individually. So if you as an elected official feel that a particular vendor's bid award should be singled out and voted on separately, you can request that. Otherwise, in order to save time, we've summarized the bid awards from JMA for the Public Works Building, EOC, and the Youth Center building envelope into one motion with all of the separate bid awards. They should be read separately, but they'll just be read in one motion. So just want to clarify procedurally a few things as we move into the meeting tonight. Okay, that's all I've got. I'll turn it over to Attorney Welch.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mayor, that's all I got. Mayor, that's all I got.
You know, sometimes in other meetings, he reverts back to the mayor thing, so it's all right.
Sorry.
Village Attorney's Report, Mr. Welch.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the attorney's report, you'll see one item. It's the resolution authorizing and consenting to a partial assignment. This relates to the Mikowski Sausage redevelopment agreement. It is the RDA recognizes that an assignment can occur, but prior to completion of the project, it needs village approval. So that's why it's coming in front of you tonight. The reason for the assignment is Mikowski's, their site at the Bridgeport location. They've sold it, but it's subject to a 1031 exchange. What that is, you sell the property, the revenue, the monies from the sale are not subject to income tax if you follow these procedures under a 1031 exchange. And these funds are being used to help fund the rehabilitation. So one of the requirements of the 1031 exchange is that a single purpose entity be created to essentially administer the funds and the construction. So what you have in front of you is a partial assignment where NCM LLC, which is Mikowski's, is assigning the rights and obligations solely to construct the facility to 16710 Build Out LLC, which is an entity solely created for the purposes of the 1031 exchange. 16710 is going to assume all of the obligations to construct, so it's solely the obligations under Article 3 of the RDA. You'll see as an exhibit C to the assignment is a consent where the village is consenting to the assignment, subject to certain conditions. And some of the conditions are that the project be completed under the terms of the RDA with 180 days of the closing date, that the obligations that have been conveyed in 16710 Build Out LLC will be reassigned back to NCM LLC, so then there will be unity once more in the contract. And then finally, one of the conditions of the village consent is a completion guarantee agreement. As you may recall, under the RDA, Mikowski Sausage guaranteed the performance of NCM LLC. Now we're bringing another LLC into the mix. Therefore, there's a completion, because 16710 Build Out is a single purpose entity. Their performance is going to also be backed up by NCM LLC as well as Mikowski Real Sausage. Okay? And that's what's in front of you tonight. Happy to answer any questions.
Is the 180 days specifically 180?
So the 180 days is it's an IRS regulation for the 1031 exchange.
When does that start?
When's
It already started. When I sold 2710 South Poplar in Bridgeport on the 21st of January, so it started.
so January 21st it started. All right. We'd appreciate your support on this item.
Trustees, I'll need a motion on resolution 1458.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 1458, authorizing and consenting to the partial assignment and assumption of redevelopment agreement by between NCM LLC and 16710 Build Out LLC related to the development of the property located at 16710 Chicago Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 1458, authorizing and consenting to the partial agreement and assumption of redevelopment agreement by and between NCM LLC and 16710 Build Out LLC related to the development of the property located at 16710 Chicago Avenue. Are there questions or discussion? Ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Grady-Parovich.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Is there anything else, Mr. Welch?
Nothing further.
Thank you. Finance and Insurance, Trustee Abbasy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we would adopt payroll for the date January 24, 2025, in the amount of $676,897.12. We would approve total accounts payable for the dates January 21 through February 4th, 2025, in the amount of $994,798.63. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve bills and payroll for Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Are there questions or discussion?
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Brian Hardy. Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we would adopt resolution number 1459, authorizing and approving the execution of a community solar subscription agreement between the village and Ampion PBC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 1459, authorizing and approving the execution of a community solar subscription agreement between the village and Ampion PBC. Are there questions or discussion? Ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Brian
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. No further items.
Thank you. Airport and Economic Development, Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Village of Lansing. I have several items. First, I'd like to make a motion to approve Lansing Municipal Airport Transportation Improvement Program for the federal fiscal year 2026 through 2030 to be submitted to the Illinois Department of Transportation, Division of Aeronautics.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Lansing Municipal Airport IGQ Transportation Improvement in Program for FFY 2026 through 2030 to be submitted to the Illinois Department of Transportation, Division of Aeronautics. Are there questions or discussion? Ask the village clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Brian Hardy. Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 1460, authorizing and approving the execution of a consulting services agreement by and between the village and Crawford Murphy Tilley Incorporated, CMT, for engineering services at the Lansing Municipal Airport related to the replacing the Quonset hangar door, project IGQ-5199.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 1460, authorizing and approving the execution of a consulting services agreement by and between the village and Crawford Murphy and Tilley Incorporated for engineering services at the Lansing Municipal Airport related to replacing the Quonset hangar door, project IGQ-5199. Are there questions or discussion? I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasí.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Brian Hardy.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 1461, authorizing and approving a quote from Airport Lighting Company related to the replacement of the precision approach path indicators at the Lansing Municipal Airport.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 1461, authorizing and approving a quote from Airport Lighting Company related to the replacement of the precision approach path indicators at the Lansing Municipal Airport. Are there questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasí.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Brian Hardy. Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 25-006, amending section 8-61 of Division 1 of Article 2, license of Chapter 8, alcohol beverages of the Lansing Municipal Code, issuing a Class 9 liquor license to Kodoche Cafe 1 Incorporated at 3521 Ridge Road.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 25-006, amending section 8-1 of Division 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 8, alcohol beverages of the Lansing Municipal Code, issuing a Class 9 liquor license to Kodoche Cafe 1 Incorporated at 3521 Ridge Road. Are there questions or discussion? Ask the village clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasí.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Brian Hardy. Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to adopt revised resolution just passed out by the attorney, number 1462, supporting a Class 8 real estate tax assessment classification application by Jorge Ruiz for the property located at 2760 Bernice Avenue for Sinorama.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 1462, supporting a Class 8 real estate tax assessment classification application by Jorge Ruiz for the property located at 2760 Bernice Avenue for Sinorama. Are there questions or discussion?
Mayor, one question for Attorney Welch. Attorney Welch, all we're looking at is Exhibit B is the additional here, which is just the conditions we discussed at the last meeting.
Well, that and the whereas clause on page 3, the fourth whereas, which incorporates Exhibit B into the actual resolution.
These conditions are no different than what we previously presented.
Correct. This is the letter that was in the packet. All we did was attach it and make it.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion or questions? I'll ask the village clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy?
Aye.
Trustee Hardy?
Aye.
Trustee Valencia?
Aye.
Trustee Perovich?
Aye.
I have no other items. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Police and Fire. Trustee Smith for Trustee Zeldin.
I have no items. Thank you.
Thank you. Buildings and Public Works. Trustee Valencia.
I might have a couple items here in the docket. So I'd like to make a motion, we award the bids for the Public Works Office Emergency Operations Center to the following recommended contractors. Bid package number 1 for building excavation to MGM Excavating LLC in the amount of $112,221. Bid package number 2 for poured in place concrete to Ed Fogarty Concrete Construction Incorporated in the amount of $168,112. Bid package number 3 for masonry to Losich Masonry LLC in the amount of $432,100. Bid package number 4 for structural steel to McKinney Steel and Sales Incorporated in the amount of $152,700. Bid package number 5 for carpentry and general construction to Keepsake Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $713,915. And I'm just getting started. Bid package number 6 for roofing sheet metal to Crowther Roofing and Sheet Metal Incorporated in the amount of $306,000. Bid package number 7 for aluminum entrances, storefronts, and windows to Replacement Window Systems, Inc. in the amount of $71,285. Bid package number 8 for the flooring to TSI Commercial Floor Covering in the amount of $117,090. Bid package number 9 for acoustical ceilings to Just Right Acoustics, Inc. in the amount of $55,100. Bid package number 10 for painting to Uservan and Sons Company in the amount of $39,520. Bid package number 11 for fire protection to Advanced Fire Protection, Inc. in the amount of $43,717. Bid package number 12 for plumbing to Reichel Plumbing, Inc. in the amount of $186,500. Bid package number 13 for mechanical to MG Mechanical Contracting, Inc. in the amount of $448,000, or with alternate number 1 in the amount of $473,000. Bid package number 14 for electrical to High Power Electric Company in the amount of $595,000. Bid package number 15 for data and low voltage to Low Voltage Solutions, Inc. in the amount of $233,189.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award the bids for the Public Works Office Emergency Operations Center to the following recommended contractors. Bid package 1 through 15. Are there questions or discussion? I feel like I got it. I was like, you're not going to do it. Sorry.
That's just not fair.
Oh. You did a fine job.
Thank you, Mayor.
Are there questions or discussion?
Yes, I have questions. Jim Mayer, I guess to the administrator, for a package 13 with the alternative with a different price, how is that determined if we're going with the alternate price? Because don't have that like set budget if we don't know which one we're going to go with.
Well, the bid award for mechanical, with or without alternate one, they were the low qualified bidder. And the alternate is to put in automated building system operations so that the heating and cooling can be controlled remotely, and you wouldn't always have to be on site. So it's very likely they'll go with the alternate package, but it was added as an alternate just to give us some clarity and options depending on where overall bids came in. But it's very likely that alternate one will be selected, but with or without it, it would not have changed the bid.
Okay. And when should we get the big package for fencing?
As soon as they are done vetting those two bids, they didn't feel that they were ready to make a recommendation, so they didn't want to hold up the rest of them because there's a time element to bid awards, and we want to let the contractors that they are settled on know that they're going to have this work.
Okay. That's all I have.
Are there any other questions or discussion? I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Grady Parovich.
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Information Technology and L&N, Trustee Brady Parovich.
I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Youth Center and HRC, Trustee Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few items, not as quite as many as Trustee Valencia, but we do have some here. I'd like to make a motion to award the bids for the Youth Center envelope improvements to the following recommended contractors. One bid package for carpentry and general construction to Keepsake Construction Company, Inc., in the amount of $411,980. Bid package 2 for masonry to Berglund Construction Company in the amount of $289,000. Bid package 3 for roof and sheet metal to Metal Masters and Roof Masters, Inc. in the amount of $273,450, or with an alternate to the amount of $245,450. Bid package 4 for aluminum windows to CMM Group, Inc. in the amount of $157,500. Bid package 5 to electric for the electric to Krikos Electric, Inc. in the amount of $61,815.
Second. We have a motion and a second to award the bids for the Youth Center envelope improvements to the following recommended contractors. Bid package number 1 through number 4. Are there questions or discussion? I'm sorry. 5. Thank you. Bid packages number 1 through 5. Are there questions or discussion? Ask the village clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Grady Parovich. Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
That's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for public comment. If you have public comment, we ask that you wait to be recognized, then step forward to the microphone. Please provide us with your name and keep your comments no more than 5 minutes. Does anyone in the audience have public comment tonight? Thank you. Do the trustees have anything for old business? Do the trustees have anything for new business? Ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Grady Paravich.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village of Lansing Committee of the Whole meeting for February 4th, 2025. I'll ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Smith. Here. Trustee Hardy.
Here.
Trustee Abbasy.
Here.
Trustee Valencia.
Here.
Trustee Grady Paravich.
Here. The trustees have before them the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of January 21st, 2025. Are there questions or discussion on those minutes? Ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Hardy.
Aye.
Trustee Abbasy.
Aye.
Trustee Valencia.
Aye.
Trustee Grady Paravich. Trustee Smith.
Aye. Okay, under the mayor's report, we have some reappointment of commissioners to the Human Relations Commission. First, Darvell Stinson. Darvell was one of the original members of our Human Relations Commission. He was appointed in 2018. We reappointed him in 2021, and his term recently expired in October of 2024. I do believe that most of the trustees are familiar with Darvell, and so if there are no questions, we'll have Darvell on the board meeting, the next board meeting for reappointment. Or any discussion? Thank you. Next, we have Bobby Wright. Bobby Wright was also one of the original appointees to our Human Relations Commission. He was appointed in 2018, reappointed in 2021, and his term also expired in October of '24. So he will be reappointed in 2 weeks at the board meeting. Are there questions or discussion on Commissioner Wright? Thank you. And lastly, Valerie McDaniels. Valerie was appointed in 2020. In November of 2019, her commission expired in November of 2024. She would be reappointed for 2 years. Yes, that's right. As most of you know, Grace is the chairman of our Planning and Zoning Commission. Are there any questions or discussion on Grace's reappointment? Thank you. That will also be on the next village board meeting agenda. Lastly, we have an announcement of a food drive fundraiser that the municipal center is going to have for the Lansing Community Food Pantry. Last fall, it came to my attention through one of the volunteers that is a regular at the pantry that not only were donations, and by donations I mean both monetary and non-perishable food items down, all donations were down, but their needs were up. It's not uncommon for the food pantry now to get 5 new families every week. And so on January 21st, I invited Mr. Podgorski and Mr. Hannigan and Don Stuckert, our Director of Communications, to come with me over to the food pantry. And Mr. Bob Barnes over there, who is kind of running the show, he told me he doesn't really have a title, but he's obviously in charge. He not only gave us a tour, but introduced us to the volunteers that are there every Tuesday, and then introduced us to the lady that does the screening process for those that are requesting the services of the food pantry. She explained to us that the pantry is still run the way that it was when Karen Adams ran it, that you have to be a Lansing resident to take advantage of the services of the Lansing Community Food Pantry. She explained to Mr. Hannigan, Mr. Podgorski, and Donna and I what that process is, and it's quite stringent. I came right out and asked her if she ever has to say no, and she said that she does. So they use financial records, obviously proof of residency, a couple of utility bills, a photo ID, and they ask a lot of questions about exactly what incomes are, not only who lives in the house, but the ages, and if they have jobs. So it's run exactly the way Karen Adams ran it. I was very impressed, and I think those that came along with me that day were as well. So Donna came up with this very impressive flyer. So we're going to be collecting non-perishable food items at the Municipal Center from Tuesday, February 18th through Friday, February 28th during the regular business hours at the Municipal Center. We'll also be collecting monetary donations at the Municipal Center during those times for the food pantry. And although this is a food drive that we're helping with, I'm hoping that between now and the end of this food drive, we'll be able to get the message across to our residents and some of our businesses that the food pantry doesn't just need our help 10 days out of the year. They need our help all of the time. It's so simple when you're going to Aldi or to your grocery store, to pick up an extra half a case of soup or baby food or some of the other things that they have listed on their list that they need every single week. So if anybody has any questions about this, of course I'll be happy to answer them now, but you can call any of us at the Municipal Center anytime to ask about this. So I hope that all of you, especially our village employees, I hope to see every single one of our village employees stop by, and if not give a monetary donation, then perhaps some non-perishable food items. That would help a lot. So thank you very much for letting me take the time to explain that. We'll move on to the village administrator's report. Mr. Podgorski.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing in this meeting.
Thank you. Village attorney's report. Mr. Welch.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Finance and insurance. Trustee Abbasy.
Thank you, Mayor. No items.
Thank you. Airport and economic development. Trustee Smith.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I do have an item, a request for a special use for live entertainment at 18155 Royal Street, Cork and Oak. Sheena Hawkins, as well as a liquor license request.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Sheena Hawkins. I am the owner of Cork and Oak, which will be located at 18155 Roy Street, the former Fort on Roy. Thank you for having me tonight. So who are we? We are Cork and Oak, a modern and trendy whiskey and tapas bar. We won't just have tapas. We will have a wider variety of offerings, but tapas, whiskey, and wine is our main focus. What we're trying to do is craft a more upscale but modern environment in Lansing, bringing a little bit something different, an intimate atmosphere, because it is a small space that will allow people to come casually and socialize and have special occasions there. Our why. So for us, it's about building community. So we want to make sure that everything we do fosters a good partnership with the village. So we're very thoughtful in what we did and how we did it in our space. And so our other why is buying locally. So we want to make sure that we support in work and go out. So we're going to buy in Lansing first, whether that is GFS in Lansing or using local farmers to get our behind the bar items. There's so many resources that we have within the community, so we want to make sure that we start here first and then work our way out. Banking locally, we want to make sure that our banking is done in town, because circulating the money in town is important. And we know that. We understand that we want to bring sustainability and not just come here to make money. Why are we here? Live entertainment. So for us, we have a mission to curate a very good environment. We think that adding live entertainment will help curate a good experience, a quality experience, an unforgettable moment, as well as bring the atmosphere that we're looking for in that space. What type of entertainment, you say? Live bands, open mic, themed events like trivia, karaoke, bingo, just fun things. It's a laid-back atmosphere, as well as a restaurant, so we want to make sure that we are curating, again, a good environment. So live entertainment will help us. This is the current floor plan. We didn't make much changes. We did a lot of cosmetic changes, but we didn't do much because we felt like it wasn't broke, so we weren't trying to fix it, but more make it fit our personality and who we are. And so you'll notice that when you go in, we didn't break down walls or do a lot of changes, but we did. It will look a lot different because we revamped it totally. Compliance. So we are very thoughtful in our business plan. We want to make sure that we centrally located the performances to the southwest corner, being thoughtful, and that's where it was done before. It will allow for it not to impede on our neighbors, because we know that they have a business, and we always want to be mindful and be respectful neighbors. The noise level, we know that the decibel levels that our music is played on could hinder our community around us, right? And we want to be, again, gracious hosts and neighbors. We will enforce and make sure that the capacity in the limited space is not abused, so there's no dance floors. There are only seating only, and if you cannot sit, then you cannot be serviced. And so we won't have standing room, and we want to be mindful and comfortable in our space. Adequate parking. So we know that we have a lot of municipal parking around there. We know that it's more than enough to suffice the amount of people that we'll have in a building at one time. The security, for us during the day, when we have live entertainment, we don't think that it's needed, but in the evening, having one off-duty security guard, we think will complement and make people feel comfortable in the space. I don't foresee it getting out of control. Jazz is not, I don't think, brings out that type of crowd, but you never know. And so that is the reason why we'll have security. Our intent for live performances will be variants from Sunday to Monday, 12 p.m. To 3 p.m. during the day, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. Our consideration, thank you for your consideration. So for us, live entertainment and a liquor license will go a long way. We have worked with currently the restaurant group that we picked was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the new restaurant that opened in Munster, which is Windy City Social. So we picked that group to help us curate a menu and do pairings with the whiskey and wine. And so having that in that environment would help in so many different ways. Being able to have live entertainment and the liquor, the spirits would just enhance what we're always trying to do in that space. And so we're asking for the consideration. And thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Sheena. Can you Speak a little bit about your background.
Yes, so I have been in food service management for 20 plus years. I have my own food service management company. I run about 81 school districts in the Chicagoland area, so I'm very familiar with food and worked with pallets. Not at this scale. I usually work with children who are a little bit more easy to serve than adults, but I'm very familiar with food and have done this for a very long time.
And what does your menu look like?
Our menu now, being totally honest, we are working with the chefs, so we haven't exactly found what we're looking for. We're trying different things out. We know that we want to go, we're being considerate with pairing, and we are considering what's around us. And so in putting our menu together, putting our cocktails together, we're considering all those things. So right now, I think that we should have that. Probably we're looking towards the end of the month to have a total of what we're having. We are very mindful of seasons. In my field of work, we only produce things that are in season, and so it will be a seasonal menu. So what we have in the spring won't be what we have in the fall, and so we are mindful of that. And so curating our menu has taken a little bit of time.
Thank you. Any other questions from the trustees?
Just one, since I see that you don't have the gaming room in there anymore?
We don't.
Okay. So you're not looking to have gaming possibly ever in there? Or?
I would never use the word never, but what I will say is at this time, that is not an interest of ours.
I got you. Thank you.
Trustee Smith, would you mind, I'd like to have our planner, wherever we're going, to come up and if you can talk a little bit about how the village worked with Sheena to vet the request and talk a little bit about some of the things that were discussed at the planning and zoning meeting.
I'll give you all the technical items, so it's the fun part. Thank you very much, Administrator Predgorski. Before you is a request for special use for live entertainment. This was before the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals in January. They afforded a favorable recommendation with a number of conditions that were outlined. Those conditions are very similar to those other live entertainments that we've come before the village board at the time. Some of the items that came out of the Plan Commission in terms of kind of revisions that was from the packet. One is that the hours of operation, the original report stated that it was Saturday till 2 a.m. during conversations that the applicant and Plan Commission had looked at having 1 a.m. as opposed to 2 a.m. So that will be a revision. The other is that in terms of the plan that you have, the business plan, it talks about packaged cocktails. That is no longer going to be requested, that it's being removed from the business plan. As well as note that any special use, it also talks about the potential of expansion into other areas, maybe getting larger. Especially use, if a special use expands, it must come back before the village for further consideration. Some others is that it notes that the hours of operation on Sunday start at 10 a.m., that there will be no liquor sales before noon, and the applicant is aware of that as well. So those were kind of the technical parts of it. Wanted to make sure, again, stating that all the conditions that we have here outlined are very similar to that which we have. I guess one of the adjustments are looking just for that security and that later hours from that 6 to 10 p.m. as opposed to during all the live entertainment early on in the day.
Will they be able to record bottles? Yes, you have a recording ability.
That would be more under the liquor license.
What was the question?
Recorking, you know, if you buy a bottle and you don't finish the bottle, will they have the ability to recork that?
I believe the request for liquor is going to be the same as it was with Pour on Roy. So there's a pouring license, which you can, you can order drinks on site to consume on site, and then you can order a bottle of wine to go. So you're not going to buy your bottle of wine and open it there and then have it recorked. You're going to be, if you're buying wine there, Sheena, correct me if I'm wrong.
That is an option, but I don't know if you got, to what extent you will allow, but yes, does that happen? You open your bottle, if you don't finish it, you recork it, package it, seal it, and you're supposed to put it in your trunk and drive it home.
Yeah, I don't know that that's, I'd have to defer to the attorney. I don't know that that's what our license, package license, it's liquor license, I think 17, I don't know that contemplates recorking. So that wasn't discussed at planning and zoning. So I would say at this point, unless
I'd have to review
the liquor license.
I don't think it does, but I'm not sure it says one way or the other, so.
Well, it's- Yeah, I would have to review.
Across the state line in Indiana, they do it no problem, but this is not Indiana, so.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate. I don't have the ordinance in front of me, so.
But Maura said you took out any kind of package.
I'm sorry, just of the
Cocktails.
The cocktails. The business plan stated ready to drink cocktails would be sold. That portion had been come out. That was a discussion point at the plan commission requesting it, and that would, but it's still, my understanding is still the recipe for the sales of, package sales of wine.
Can you went over your special use. Can either of you go further into detail so we all have clarity on exactly what liquor license request you're looking for? It seems like you need two. The attorney stated you have to revisit the class 17. But is there, other than the pour license, is there anything else?
So there's two licenses requested, the same that Pour on Roy had, and the same that SL Wine Bar has. It's a class 1, which allows, it's a general liquor license, which allows on-site consumption of beer, wine, and spirits, and then it's a class 17 packaged wine license. Those are the two licenses being requested, same as the previous occupant of the property.
Okay. Sheena, will you be doing tastings?
Yes.
Okay. And for going back to this live entertainment, because I don't want this to come up later as an issue, will you be selling tickets?
We will not be selling tickets.
No entertainment fees?
No fees.
Thank you.
It is complimentary.
Attorney and administrative publicity, can we make sure that it's put into the agreement that no ticket sales or any event fees that we're seeing at other establishments?
Trustee Smith, that's in the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board that the applicant will not require or collect a cover charge for people entering the property.
Great. Okay. I have no further questions. Trustee Abbasy?
It's a question for Administrator Podgorski or Planner Pagoni. In terms of the licensed security guard during live entertainment, do any of our ordinances delineate what's considered live entertainment? So is the expectation that there would be security at a trivia night as well as live jazz band? Is someone looking for clarity on that?
There was no distinction made. So at this point, the way the ordinance reads is if there's live entertainment, there's to be security from 6 to 10.
Okay.
Have any other questions for Ms. Hawkins? All right, I'm referring to put this on the next regular board meeting for a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being on Lansing.
That's all I have for airport and economic development here.
Thank you. Police and Fire, Trustee Smith or Trustee Saad.
They have a memorandum of understanding between the City of Chicago and Lansing Police Department regarding utilization of Chicago PD radio band. Brian Weis.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. This memorandum of understanding with the Chicago Police Department, basically in short, what it allows us to do, our detectives and tactical officers and sometimes officers when they're following cases up have to go into the city of Chicago. If they're investigating something or trying to take somebody in custody, if the situation ends up to be where they need help, right now the only way for a Lansing police officer or detective to call for help in the city of Chicago is to pull out their cell phone and dial 911, which is not safe. And it's been that way for years and years and years. So continuing to build on all the interoperability that we've been investing in our system, I reached out to the Chicago Police Department to try to see if we could get one of their radio bands into our radios, because all the radio system work we did, the radios that we purchased can handle it. After about 2 months of beating my head against the wall, we were trying to figure out Chicago, I finally got a hold of one of their communications supervisors, who said that we would absolutely be allowed to put one of their citywide channels in. So you'll see it says citywide 85 in the MOU. They have 8 citywide channels. They call the last one 85. That allows any of our officers, if they're in Chicago and they need to call for help or assistance, that they can go right over that radio band and say where they are, and the Chicago police will respond to that. It also enables them to do any other law enforcement activities, such as if they have to pull a traffic stop in the city of Chicago, they're able to do it, and the closest Chicago beat car will be able to back them up on that. So it's a big safety step and another big step that we take in our interoperable communications.
Trustees have any questions for Mr. Weis?
I just always appreciate your efforts to advance the department, such our communication, the safety of our officers. So thank you for pursuing this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, can you please come up and add additional?
Right. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to keep Brian here. I did have the opportunity to present this to him yesterday after I swore somebody in, but I had the proud privilege to present Brian Weis with our Employee of the Year for all that he's done throughout the years. To read a lot of stuff, but there's so much stuff that he's done that I have to just read all this. So Brian's been with us since 2001, been a supervisor of communications since 2005. He's secured almost $1 million in grants for both the police, fire, and 911 departments. Recently received over $300,000 in software upgrades as part of a $500,000 grant that he helped obtain for 6 other agencies. Led the early upgrade with our radio system to 800 frequency, enabling encrypted channels and improving radio councils and interoperability. Brian's also working on developing a backup 911 center and manages a $500,000 annual budget. Dedicated to officer safety, he often comes in after work, stays late, and implements any type of redundant system that helps for our failures. His planning helped neighborhood agencies in need, and he is focused on ensuring the success of our 911 dispatch for years to come. I don't like reading stuff like that because it sounds sticky. Brian's our heart and soul of our police department. He's the one guy that is guaranteeing all of us that we get home safe at the end of the day. That's what I preach, that's what he preaches, and the radio in there makes sure our fire department gets home safely as well. He loves this place, he is dedicated to this place, and I couldn't think of a better person, somebody more deserving. Congratulations. Quick word, baby.
Like the chief said, Lansing's my home. I've grown up here. I've been involved with the police department since I was a police cadet in 1994. So this is truly home. This is personal for me. And at the end of the day, like the chief said, there's a lot of things, a lot of fancy things out there. But at the end of the day, every single police officer and firefighter we send out has to come back home. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate this.
Very well deserved. It was a pleasant surprise. Thank you, Chief, for that. If the trustees have no more questions, can we defer this to the next regular board meeting for a vote? And I have no other items for police and fire, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Just as great as that was, Chief, and of course we're proud of all of our officers and everyone else that's employed by the Lansing Police Department, but it was better yesterday when he was surprised.
He was surprised.
He was really surprised. Okay, Buildings and Public Works, Trustee Valencia.
Thank you, Mayor. We have one special use request Anybody more you want to come up? Yes. It's for electronic messaging sign at 2422 Ridge Road, Trinity Lutheran Church. Here's.
Thank you. Before you this evening is a special use request for Trinity Lutheran Church. This property is actually at 2422 Ridge Road. This was before the PZBA in January, and they forwarded a favorable recommendation to the village board with conditions similar to that of which we've had for other electronic message center signs, particularly those that are not commercial in nature. I will let them kind of show off the sign, but at the end, what they are doing is removing the existing changeable copy sign that is on Ridge Road and replacing it with the electronic message center sign. The uniqueness of this property is actually that it has different zonings. The properties to the north that are in Indiana, spanning further south, are residentially zoned. However, this parcel is actually commercially zoned, B2, so it's subject to the regulations of the B2 zoning district for height and so forth. So what we want to make sure is that that motion is identified for the particular property at 2422 Ridge Road, so that because it is larger, that it can't go anywhere else on the property. So again, the same similar conditions that we've had for light, for as well as that messaging have been carried over for all the other ones. I will go ahead and leave it to the applicants to show off their product.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany. I'm with All Right Sign, representing the church. I apologize for the address mix-up on there. That was my error for the sign that will be going on Ridge. So I have the need for a digital sign. The church is looking for a digital sign to help better support their communication and their outreach efforts by having a visual display for passerbys to view and see the upcoming events that the church may host or be promoting for the community. With the digital display, some of the common features are the auto dimming at dusk, so it will have a photo cell pre-programmed into it, so it will enhance the brightness during the day at the peak of the sun, and then will decrease at night to allow you when you're driving by. Also with that customization is the size of the messages, the duration of the messages, if you'd like to have them programmed so that they're staying visible for longer, or if you'd like them to move, faster to, if they have a longer message, you want it to go quickly. And then we'll recap on what the sign looks like. So the top message, top image, is obviously currently what they have. So it's the older style manual display where you have to change the individual letters. The lower portion is what we are proposing. We're proposing brick columns to help tie in the structure of the building to give it a nice, solid aesthetic look, as well as the ID portion that notates this is who we are, this is where you're at, and then the dynamic display that allows for the changeable copy. That is what we are asking for.
So when you say that's where they're at, there's no address on that? You're just saying?
There's no address on the sign itself.
Just the title.
Correct. So that lower portion is what the final product would look like.
Brittany, I know one of the churches on Ridge Road, First Church PCA, has like pictures, and then other reader boards just have like language on them. What style would this one be?
So that is, it's capable of having pictures. It's up to the discretion of the church and how they choose to program it. So it is capable of having images.
Trustees, have any other questions? Brittany, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
We can have this on the agenda following me. Thank you. Mayor, that's all we have.
Information technology and elevation. Trustee Grady Turbich. I have nothing this evening. Thank you. Youth Center and HRC. Trustee Hardy.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for public comment. If you have public comment tonight, please remember that this is a committee of the whole meeting, so your topic of comment should match one of the topics on the agenda that we're on right now. If you'd like to speak, please wait to be recognized. Step forward to the microphone and provide us with your name. We'd ask that you keep your comment no more than 5 minutes. Does anyone in the audience have public comment this evening? trustees have anything for old business? Do the trustees have anything for new business? I'll ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of reviewing executive session minutes and to discuss litigation.
So.
Second.
Ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Hardy?
By the way, if you appreciate local news like this, especially if you are local to Lansing, Illinois, you should subscribe to our local news email. It's free, and it helps us, and it helps you too. Subscribing is the most consistent and convenient way to get all the local news we publish. It doesn't depend on algorithms or SEO or other high-tech voodoo. It just shows up in your inbox for free every morning. Click on the link in the description below or on the QR code on the screen somewhere and sign up today. Thank you.